Hi, everybody. My name is Hans. I'm the engineering lead on the SDK team at DFINITY here. Um, well, with shelter in place everywhere. And this is hacking on the internet computer. This is where we learn how to basically build stuff on top of the internet computer, which is DFINITY's cloud product. And uh, I I'm gonna undo what I've done. I didn't do anything, like 5 minutes of work and 20 minutes of talking, really. But essentially, let's get to the code and let's catch up a little bit, just explaining the different versions, which I did already in a past episode, I think, but now is a little bit more relevant. So let's go to the code. And so one thing I noted when I was running DFX is that there was a warning at the top. That said, the version of DFX used is different than the version of DFX that I'm running. So that means that if I go here and I do which DFX, if I run this, it's 055, and if I go here and I do this, I get the warning and it's 054. And the reason is that the first thing that the DFX does when it starts up is that it reads the DFX JSON and figure out which version you want to use. If you want to do some fancy, you can also use the environment variable DFX version, and that's going to override that. So there's multiple levels of check for the versions that you need to run. The first one is the dfx.json, the dfx key in dfx.json. The second one, no, the first one would be the environment variable. If it's there, it's used. Second one, the dfx.json, and the third one is the internal version. So if I do, so now that, oops, what's going on here? Oh, there you go. So now if I do 5.5, what I'm going to do is, I don't have the warning anymore. I can suppress the warning if I want to. Of course, this should not be done unless you know what you're doing. And so the first thing that we wanted to check is 055. Our project was running on 054. Do we have to do anything to update to 055? If I remember that release, it was 2 weeks ago. There was nothing. Yeah, there was probably nothing that needed to be done for supporting this release. Yeah. So a little bit of updates on the FX itself. We are trying to move as fast as possible internally to basically sync. There's been some divergence. There's been some divergence between replica, the code for the replica, and the code for DFX, and the replica is working a lot on optimizations, and so we're just waiting for these divergence, basically fixing DFX and waiting for one bug to be solved on the replica side before we merge everything. And then we do another release 056, and you should see some improvements for the 056. Nothing serious from DFX itself, more from the replica code. So, okay, so now we have it started. As you all know and love, we do canister install, all because we don't need to install just one. It's installed, and then we're gonna test it. Test it here. There you go. So now there's no entries. We can create a new one. My first entry in journey. Also, bold HTML works, though it shouldn't. And just adding a break there. All right. No, it doesn't. Ha ha ha. But we probably want to do some styling later. I mean, all the little bits that are not related to DFINITY itself should probably not be should not necessarily be of the stream, because it's pretty boring and it's not related to DFINITY. So if you're trying to learn DFINITY and I'm here doing CSS to make like things prettier, you're probably not gonna be very interested. That being said, I might do a one stream at some point where I just do the CSS stuff and be done with it. In the meantime, as you can see, the router works. So this is the 6th episode of the series. So you can just go and watch the other 5s on youtube.com/DFINITY. And so you can see how we came up. The last episode was all about adding the router and adding like new entries. And then the episode before was just basically building the front end, and then before that the back end, etc., etc. We've been moving back and forth between the two. And today we're gonna just do just that. Today we are gonna talk about users. And I do not have my iPad with me. I wanted to do some whiteboarding with you guys. I guess I'll do that next time. Although I could run really quickly. No, we don't need whiteboarding just yet. So, okay. So the last time you might remember that I used code because we had the code plugin. I'm more an IntelliJ guy. And I really like IntelliJ, but it does not have Motoko support. And this is a stream about you guys, so really you are the ones that should be put first. And so what we're gonna we're gonna talk today about, and so we're gonna use VS Code to see things so that you can see like the syntax highlights and everything, so that it makes it easier for you to follow. So let me get my cheating tab on my other screen, pointing up to linked up. Linked up does use users, and as such doesn't has a lot of examples for that, how to do users. So what is a user in Motoko? There is a type, user ID principal. There's a type named principal. Actually, I probably want to go there. Oops. So there's not going to be an ID anymore. We don't need IDs. And that's one of the things that needs to be talked about, is that user IDs are going to be a kind of a thing in the past. Everybody has a user ID already. That is available to your canister. User using your canister will have a different ID than the same user using my canister. Although this is still in big discussions, this is basically the current the current tech, essentially. So, okay, I'm gonna do something here that probably shouldn't be done too often, but I'm gonna show you how to show what is a user ID and how to create one. Func get principal, and then async principal. As I said, principal is the type. It's a series of bytes. It has absolutely no values. I mean, two people creating different principals are not going to get one like a unique ID that's incrementing or something like that. It is basically random for all intended purposes. But it's guaranteed that the same user will have the same principal when they call you, and we'll talk about the mechanics of how that happens before. But there is a caller here on the message, so this is the context. Actually, I don't know why they call it MSG. I like to call it context because it's the context in which your function is actually called, which means it contains some information like the caller. I don't think it contains other informations yet, but we do have plans to add more stuff there. And so if I dfx build, what happens? Okay, so DFINITY Canister install. Now I have my canister here. That is great. I can go here. Okay. So in DFX, and we are working to improve that, but right now, currently in DFX, if I do DFX canister call get principal. Journey. We don't have a serialization, so this is the principal serialization. We do not have the serialization for principals themselves. 056 will fix that. But in the meantime, I think, so how we got around that in linked up was to actually not not pass user IDs, but pass hashes of user IDs. And I just need to find out how this works. Yeah. So make profile. Sorry, this is public, so I can probably just show you where I am right now. So I'm looking at linked up. I know that they do a hash because I refactored that code at one point, but that was a while ago. So it's kind of hard to remember. But connectd has a method called connect, which receive a vertex. Oh, connectd is literally just a directed graph. So really, user ID is a principal. Okay, user ID is a principal. So user ID, when I create a hash map of principal to profile, I use principal.hash. Okay, let's see if this works. Oh, what is So these are principles, but connectd is so database is really okay. So p, and then I can p.hash this. What is the return value of this? It returns a word 32. Okay. So instead of a async principal, we're going to use an async word 32. Okay, so now we're back on track. So instead of getting a principal ID, which is just a bunch of bytes anyway, so we're going to get a hash of a principal ID, which is going to be a 32-bit word. Now, 32 bits is enough for 32 bits is enough for 4 million people, 4 billion people. Don't keep Don't keep 32 bits users for associating those users together. Now I'm facing another problem, which is unknown opcode -7. That's because it turns out that word 32 is not in. I don't know if I can do that. Can I just do that? Yeah, that's gonna tell me word. So, but a word 32 should be convertible to a natural. Can I force a conversion? I'm pretty bummed out by this because it should work. Wait, the other question is what types do I have available to me? So let's take a look. 055. Actor, no, IDL. I want IDL dot d.ts is fine. So at the end here you have all the ones that are available to you. So not 32, word 32 is not part of them, and that I knew. Boy. So instead of banging my head on the wall with this one, can I just do, instead of a nat, can I do nat 32? Is that compatible? Oh boy. There are differences between the two types, but I should be able to convert from one to the other. Because a word 32 will roll over if I do ++ and it's at the limit. A nat 32 will overflow and trap, essentially. Okay, so there's a few of you. All right, so okay, so what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna cheat because I want to show you guys, and I'm a coder, and coders cheat. That's what they do. I'm gonna go into the nat32 class. There's an opcode somewhere. I know because I worked in that class too. There's a list of opcodes. I just don't see them. There you go. Okay. So fixed nat. There you go. Covariant encode. Oh boy. Well, I might be chewing more than I can actually. So the magic number is there. So the type table, and then the big number, and then the pipe. All right. Oh. Oh yeah, there you go. That's just because it's not a list of constant. So what's skip the version. I'll update later. So okay. Unknown opcode -7. There you go. So IDL is where all the encoding happens. and then fixed nat class is the one here, and then decode value. Oh boy. One, 2, 4, 8. No, that's not right. -7. Yeah, it can encode word 32. Wait, that's not right, isn't it? Oh boy. Hey, maybe I found a bug and we need to fix it, and we're gonna do that together because that's just what kind of things we do. So, if I remember right, why do I have 2 lab? But in any case, util has all the lab stuff, and so read. Yes. Oh, I see. I see. So it's the byte length, and then it returns a big number. So this is divided by 8. This is fair. Okay. So covariant. Okay, so what I wanted to do is, oh, there you go, nat class is a primitive. Encode type -3, so that's a nat. Fix int. -5 minus offset should be, it should be -7, it should be supported. So 0, oh. Oh, interesting. Oh, no, that doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with this. Okay, unfortunately, DFX itself does not support. Oh, I see, yes. Canister call. DFX itself does not support that. Invalid IDL blub, unknown of code. We need to add it in DFX. Now, if I go to what I really wanted to show you guys is that in the console, we do have IC HTTP agent. And what we can do is essentially go here, get the IDL for the main. So this is the main function. So const journey IDL factory. Okay, and we can we require? No, we can't. Sorry. And we can't import, right? Oh, man, yeah. So what we can do here is essentially in the index, in the app, is that the right place? That's not the right place. This would be the right place. So journey.get principal. Well, actually, just do like window.journey equal journey. I wanna add more stuff in the IC here so that you could do like ic.canisters.journey or something like that and have proper like typing. But nobody. Okay. I want to do some like IC canisters so that you can debug the canisters right from the console, but that won't happen just yet. And in the meantime, doing this like this actually helps. So journey exists now. Journey exists. It has a bunch of functions, so you can actually look at that. It has a get principal, and a get, and a list, and a new entry. So journey dot get principal dot then console dot log dot bind console. Boop. So that's my principal ID. Oh yeah. So it does work in JavaScript. It doesn't work in DFX. I'm going to go ahead and just create an issue here and make sure that it works, because that should work. We should be on par here. That's just a mistake. New issue. So nat32/word32 are not available in Rust IDL. Great. It is in JS, in JavaScript. Okay. The other thing that we could have used is candid here. So get principal, call, waiting, up. There you go. And you will notice that this is the same, 943. And I could like refresh the page as much as I want, and it's going to be the same, 943. But if I open an incognito window and I call this, I'm going to get a different one, 5451. And if I refresh, I'm going to get the same 5451. Yeah. And this is because it's tied to your yeah. So we did We did have some of those talks before, probably when I was doing the linked up journey, the linked up episode. But essentially, this is my public and private key pair, and this is what my user represent. Now, if I delete this and I refresh and I call, I'm not going to get the same one, 2920. And it's going to generate a new one and store it. It is very important when you create a user, and we'll see it later, like administration. It is very important that the user, that you don't lose it. Otherwise, you might have to reinstall the canister. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Never check in your private keys for real stuff in your repo, because repos are normally public. So you don't want people to steal your identity, because this is the only thing that makes you different than anybody else on the internet computer. And if you just copy paste that into another browser, even on my phone, I'm gonna be the same user. So for the system, I'm not gonna be distinguishable. Yes. And so let's see. Let's start coding, because yeah, I feel like we haven't coded. So this is something that I need to do too. Let me new issue this. Add canisters to window.ic in development mode. Okay. Oh, and Andrew volunteered himself in the chat to Code Lemur volunteered himself in the chat for solving this one, so yay. I don't have to do it. I love it. Okay. Let's see. What else? Where should we go from here? Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace users with user IDs. And this is going to be super awkward at first, but essentially I'm going to get, so var admin is a principal equal null. Wait, is that a keyword? Yeah, I think it is. Yes, it's null, not nil. Okay. And so public func set admin, and this is don't do this, but shared MSG. Don't do this because this is bad, but case. Wait, switch admin case null. Wait, is that a colon? It is not a colon, it's just a statement, and in this case a block statement. So admin colon equal msg.caller, and that's it. Oh, okay. All right. So now, basically, the first one to call setAdmin, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I think there's a way to do that and install, like the user that installs the canister gets to be the admin. There's two problems with that. The first one is I don't remember how to do this, and I don't want to spend an hour asking people in chat how to do that. The second problem with this approach is that DFX does not have proper signatures yet, and this is going to be fixed in 0.5.6 and of course improved on with time. But right now, because there's no signature and there's no identity, DFX does not have a principal when it calls. There is one, it's just 0, 0, 0. So we'll have to do that from the candidate UI for now. But obviously, this should be, this should be done at install or using a proper password or something. I don't know. No, don't do passwords. Don't store like super hyper private information. Principals are not private. PII. A password might be private. Even more if you don't check it once. Like, oh, like password here, which is a text, and then I do like if password equal my whoa, gonna be full XORs here. Password with symbols. So this is bad for multiple reasons. First one is that your code is checked in, so probably everybody knows about password at this point. So what's the use? Security by absurdity. Security by obscurity is not really security. The second one is that yeah, this is never going to be a secure password. And even if you don't check that into code, into a repo, just people can still have access, might still be able to access your WASM and see strings and stuff like that. So it's just bad. The real deal here would be to have admin equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, where I know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is my principal, and that's it. And if I ever change key, well, too bad. Like, I don't have access to that canister anymore, which is another thing. You can get locked out if you force the principal. We're in development right now. We're gonna erase, reinstall all the time, but because in a real world application, people have been locked out of their systems because they lost the key and they can't re-get it. Like, it's not just, you can't force your way in, right? So this is a bad idea. Adding a password to it doesn't make it a better idea. But for now, it's our bad idea. For now, we're not, you know, 1.0, so we do accept a certain level of, you know, divergence. And also, I'm working exclusively on my machine, so nobody's going to be able to call my canister. Don't try. I have a big firewall. So, okay. And so new entry should just be done. Actually, we're gonna change the type here, ID. There's not gonna be any type anymore. There's not gonna be users anymore. The only one that can create a user, so public shared MSG func create user. Of course, I have to add the zeros at the end. And name and description. There you go. There's nothing. It doesn't return anything. And so, so if msg.color equal admin, then let user equal name 0 ID how yeah, only the admin should be able to create a user, but only the user can ask for creating itself. So the model should be really, because the admin can create a user, but the admin does not have access to the user's principal ID, and the user can just say, like, here's my principal ID, because they don't know what it is, really. So so there's going to be a create user, which creates a user, and that's it. But editor false, so he's not an editor by default. And description disk 0. And so users equal array.append user users and with the new user. There you go. So now we need to create the, oh geez. So now we need to create now. Yes, now we need to create a new type. That's the error, because the type doesn't match anymore. And so this is a principal. No, the ID does not matter. So principal. And, you know, principal. The IDs of the user is going to be always... Oh, no, that's an at. That's an at. The ID of an author is going to be always a user. There you go. So this is internal, because this is how we store it in our data, but this is external because this is how we return it to the outer world. So right now we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this. And later we're going to learn about variants in Motoko, because variants are exactly what we actually want here. Okay, so a few things. New entry will be limited to basically new authors. So there should be a get user somewhere. There should be a get user somewhere. No, we tabulate. Oh. Okay, well, we're gonna make a private function that's gonna be func get user principal ID principal, and it's not even async. It's a national user, and so the way this works is that I refined. There you go. And this can actually, okay, I'm gonna, yes, let a equal get user of e.other. There you go. And get user is going to be this code, and this is what it returned. Of course, we want to make it pretty, and we want this. That looks good. That looks good. So get user works. So let u equal get user of msg.caller, and if u dot editor. There's no Helvis operator as far as I know. I don't even know if this is going to work. This might not work at all. So a new entry does not have an author anymore. A new entry, so if it's one or the other, we just return 0 for now. Like if it's 0, it's an error. I'm gonna unique ID starts at 1. Oh, it already does. That's perfect. And so author principal. Oh, there you go. Okay, good. Any other errors that I should be aware of? Okay, so create user editor is false. So public shared message set func set user role, just editor for now, and the role, we need a way to reference it. So public shared MSG func get user list, return an async user. So if the user is admin, only the admin can enumerate. We'll work on more on better stuff later, but for now that's gonna do. Return users, else return empty array. It's fine. So let's try to compile this. Actually, I'm pretty curious what this is gonna do. Okay, return an error. Expected one of these tokens. Oh, because apparently pipe is not a real thing. Where? Oh. Huh. Oh, okay, you know what? Switch U. Case. Case null. Return 0. Case U. If u.editor equal false. There must be some kind of shorthand here, but okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Is that better? That is better. So 45. Yes. Is that a thing? Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. So switch. Apparently you need to do switches for everything. You know what? This really should be func is admin. Switch admin case null false. Case return p equal id, return false. Okay. And so func is editor. We'll do this one later. Okay. If is admin. Okay. 25. 55. What's the problem now? I just need parentheses around this. There you go. That looks great. Okay. And so canister install. And there you go. Now we're going to work a little bit with Candid. The Candid UI here. So set admin get, wait. Oh, well, no need for passwords anymore, but anyway, just calling empty text. Okay, so get user list. Let's see if I can have this happen. So it's an empty vector. Because I don't have users. That's why. And yours truly. There you go. And now if I get user list, I should get at least one user. Yay. Oh, so you can see the user ID is this principal. It's not an editor. This is probably my principal. Also for the admin, so the admin field should be the same principal because it's the same user. And there you go. Okay. So the question I have for you guys, what will happen if I do this? So call should be an empty vector. Even though I have users because I'm not an admin. If I set admin here, it's going to fail. Although it's not going to do anything. That's the difference. And if I call for a new entry, it should return 0. Yes. So if I call for a new entry here, it's going to return 0 too. Yes. Because we haven't created the set user role yet. So public shared func set user role principal. So if is admin caller, there you go. So the only way this will work is if you are an administrator. So let u equal get user with the ID, and switch u case null do nothing, and case u dot editor equal true. And I think u is by reference, so I think this should work. Yeah, I need a mutable assignment. Oh god. So no, that's just gonna overwrite u itself. So what I need to do is and go to the array itself and update. I need some kind of update function here. Is there some kind of replace essentially? Has to be. There has to be, because that's how we do stuff in connected. Oh, well, maybe not. It just had edges, it doesn't change the profile. So, oh, that's how we do things in linked up though. We change the profile in linked up. We allow people to change the profile. So again, let's go to examples, code examples. So update, there you go. Directory update 1. Hash map set. Oh, they use a hash map. Oh, they use a hash map. Should we use a hash map instead of an array? We won't, but essentially we won't, but we should, and we will do that in the futures. But well, change this to a hash map. There you go. That way we'll remember to never do it again. Okay, so here basically we do users array dot append, and instead in this here is going to be array dot filter. Don't do this at home. This makes me feel bad really, but so browser 11 asking how to remove the file path in the terminal when running your code. I'm not sure which file path you're talking about. If I open up the terminal, which I never do here because I just don't know much about it, I don't think I see file path in here. That's my prompt, but do you mean this file path here? Because this will give you access to those. So I can open files and I can go, like, if I'm here, I can open up 52 here. Oh, no, this is just the way it's gonna be. This is from DFX itself. Maybe we could do like some kind of configuration to remove that, but that's from DFX. It's also very useful if you hold Command or Control, I think, on Windows. I'm not totally sure. You can click on the file name and open up the editor there. So that's actually kind of useful. So new user editor equal true. that something that happens? No, I have to redo everything. Description, new dot description, and then oh, that's it. Okay. Oh no, ID. Okay, so users, so func is EQ. Wait. Oh. So the predicate. Okay, so I just wanted to have the predicate in my clipboard here. Cool. So basically just finding the first one. We filter out, so any user ID that's not that. And then filter receive two functions, right? Oh, the function is the first and then the array. So predicate and then this. And then we want to append the new user. So we basically create a new array for filtering out the user that we don't want, and then we append it at the end. So we remove it from the middle and then move it to the end. This is very, very inefficient. It's a good way to not do. It's a good inefficient way to do it. This would be better if we use the hash map, because we could just set the hash map itself. But in this case, we'll just, for now, do the wrong thing and fix it later. So we're 10 minutes overdue, so this is going to be the last one. So set admin is null, so I'll need to call it first. Now admin is me, this browser window. If I get the list of users, I don't have any user. So create user, Hans, yours truly. So this is created, and then not Hans should not be editor. Actually, I should only, yeah, if there's, this creates a user with my principal, so I should not do that. There you go. So create use, oops. Okay, so I need the proper canister ID because I have I have multiple canisters. Not Hans, not editor call. There you go. So now I have two users. And if I list them, if I get user list, there you go. So I have Hans, which is still not an editor. I have not Hans, which is not an editor. And if I copy paste, I copied this in the set user role. Let's see if this works. I'm not sure this is going to work, but. And now Hans is editor true, which means that Hans can create new entry, some text, get one, and if I go here and I do new entry, some other text, I will get 0 as an error code. And now if I go to my blog, I only see the new entry by Hans and not Hans. And this concludes our current stream for today, where basically we created new users. So this is a 1 hour long stream. We started 10 minutes late. We're ending 10 minutes late. I'm sorry about that. So we showed you how to manage users, how to create users. It's kind of awkward to receive principal IDs back and right. But essentially, you need to know the principal ID of a user. And you cannot just ask the user to provide you with it. So the way the flow will work, and we will add UI for this next. But basically, the way this will work is that you're going to have a UI to create a new user. There's no password. By the way, there's still no password, but I cannot still impersonate another user because I need their public key and their private key, and nobody has that information except the user itself. Well, supposedly, like. And so we're gonna let users create users, as you know, they can only create one anyway because it's the same principle. They can refresh their page, but you know that's kind of a lot of time. And so they create users, and then we'll approve them as editors later. So next stream, join us for two things. We're going to create the UI for this flow. And second, we're going to set roles where basically people know their roles. And there's going to be 3 roles, essentially, like readers, editors who can post new blogs, and then administrators who can approve users as editors or administrators. And so this is it for this week. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the stream, and the code is going to be available in 5 minutes on the repo, and the video is going to be available next week on YouTube. Thank you, and have a good week, and stay safe. Oh, we'll see each other in 2 weeks, which is going to be the 7th. So May 7th. See you at May 7th at 9 a.m. Goodbye.